We've said multiple times how humans are social creatures. We'll morph ourselves just to fit in, or at least enough not to be total outcasts. And there are many different ways that we can find a community. Some definitely more healthy than others.
We can tell ourselves that we don't care about being alone, but that's a lie. We will be a part of something one way or another. And there is one movie that shows us the lengths we'll go to find a group. So remember the first two rules, because this is media philosophy exploring the deeper side of groups and community with Fight Club.
Fight Club centers around the nameless narrator, who we'll refer to as Jack for simplicity's sake, as he confronts feelings of love, soap, and manhood by beating the absolute crap out of people. But we're not going to be talking about any of that.
Instead, we're going to be talking about spheres of influence? This f***ing channel's dying.
Throughout the film, there's a yearning deep down inside Jack that affects his everyday living. He's looking for something and keeps finding it in different places. First, he turns to health support groups. And support groups can be a great place for, well, support. These are places where you find people who are going through the same thing as you. Oftentimes, they're an excellent way to fully recover or come to terms with an issue. And the best thing about them is that they're a great way to maximize empathy. It was the only place where Jack felt like he could truly express himself before he learned how good it felt beating the snot out of Blondie.
It didn't seem like Jack really had any friends, so really, this was his only human connection. For somebody going through a hard time, like overcoming an illness or a trauma, that can be an isolating experience. That's why it's so important to find groups like this.
They are places to freely partake in vulnerability. If we've gone through some hard time, it might be the only place where we can actually speak our minds. And out of all the groups Jack joins, this is by far the healthiest one. Now, I don't think we should go out and lie about a terminal illness, but we can find these same sort of relationships out in the real world by joining a cycling club or a movie club. I've always wanted to get established at some sort of board game store, but the point is that these groups center around a common interest or experience. And if we can't find a place to be ourselves, then we'll find that sense of belonging elsewhere.
At first, Jack was immersed with consumerism. And you might be thinking, I thought this was a video about groups. Why does it matter if he likes to shop? Well, is it really so different?
There's a reason we call it brand loyalty. Whether it's a sports team or being Team Xbox or PlayStation, people are passionate about their stuff. Jack loved his IKEA brand furniture at first. In fact, the whole catalyst for the film is him losing his stuff and being reduced to ground zero.
And if you don't believe that people would die for their brands, then go tell a woman that Lululemon is dumb and you'll have every single woman in a 50-mile radius after you. I'm serious.
Just think about how powerful these corporations really are with their ability to lobby Congress to their will.
When deep space exploration ramps up, it'll be the corporations that name everything. The IBM Stellar Sphere, the Microsoft Galaxy, Planet Starbucks.
Out of every group we talk about, blind consumerism is probably the worst group to be a part of. And we're going to be talking about extremists next. At least extremists believe in something.
You're a monster! You're like Hitler, but even Hitler cared about Germany or something.
Brands just want to take your money. They don't love you.
But I love you. Here, would you like a cup of tea? Perhaps a new video?
And that's the plight of so many upper middle class folks and beyond, is that they can get lost in modern creature comforts. Just like Tyler Durden says,
things you own end up owning you.
You might think that you found some sort of fulfillment, but it's artificial. Once the novelty wears off, you'll feel that same emptiness again. And if you don't find some group to be a part of, you'll judge yourself and others based on what you have instead of who they are and what they're made of.
Now, if you can't join any clubs and you're not rich enough to indulge in material goods, don't worry, there's still an option for you, and that's radical groups.
Radical groups thrive on that outsider energy. They want to take that frustration and weaponize it. And maybe the most amazing thing is that the ones who join may be willing to die for the cause. No one was really coerced to join Fight Club. It grew organically out of a frustration for the status quo. People lined up out the door to join Tyler's movement. These people were united under a common idea or principle, and when cultivated in a positive way, it can be one of the most powerful vehicles for change. Or it could lead to the destruction of an entire banking system.
But hey, it's all just a means to an end, right?
You need to be careful if you have this desperate longing to belong, because that's how unhealthy relationships and groups are formed. Think about all those kids outside of Syria who went to join ISIS. They all had different reasons for going, and they all believed in some sort of message that they thought the group embodied.
So the good news is, if you really do want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, well then, you're in luck. With all that angsty, brooding energy, well, you'll be like the belle of the ball.
Do you want to join ISIS? Guaranteed epic beard. No? Well then, maybe the Proud Boys are more your style. I hear they offer a $2,000 sign-on bonus with an AR-15. Or hey, you could always develop an unhealthy codependent relationship with yourself.
It doesn't matter how hard you fight it. One way or another, you will be a part of some group or crowd. You can either buy your way in, or find some place with like-minded individuals. And if not, well, I hear the IRA is looking for new bomb makers. Just remember to bring the soap. This is Media Philosophy, exploring the deeper side of entertainment. And if you like this video, make sure to tell Cashier a random compliment.